Hi, Cancer Sun, Moon, and Risings. Welcome to your June 2022 horoscope. My name is Cailin, and today you can watch your horoscope for your ascendant sun and moon sign. I will be using tropical astrology and the whole sign system. If you're only going to watch one horoscope, I recommend that you watch your ascendant sign, otherwise known as your rising sign horoscope, first and foremost, because it will be the most accurate for you overall. Having said that, your Cancer Sun horoscope will tell you more about your life goals and your career, whereas your Cancer Moon horoscope will tell you more about your personal relationships, family life, and also your property and living circumstances. But I seriously would watch your Sun, Moon, and Rising horoscopes. So let's start off with Mercury stationing direct in Taurus on the 3rd of June. So Mercury will have been retrograde from the 10th of May through till the 3rd of June. And essentially, Mercury was retrograde in Gemini in your 12th house, and it'll be retrograde for a little bit in your 11th house as well. Sorry, I'm mixing up past tense and present tense because today is the first day of Mercury retrograde for me. Anyway, basically, by the time you get to the 3rd of June, you can iron out differences with friends, especially if there's been disagreements, although there will be more on this about a week later with a Venus Uranus conjunction that we're going to have. Look, with Mercury now being direct in your 11th house, you may have done a little bit of pruning to your friendship tree. You may have gotten back in touch with a friendship group, or you may have rejoined a community that you used to be part of. And for some of you, if you had some long-term goals or projects that you were working on, you may actually have done a little bit of a course correction and changed your approach. Now, on the 4th/5th of June, depending where you live in the world, Saturn will station retrograde at 25 degrees in Aquarius in your 8th house. Saturn spends about 5 months being retrograde every year, so it's not really a big deal, but I do like to mention when planets station direct and retrograde. So essentially, some of you may be embarking on a real research journey. And I'm saying that because Saturn represents something which takes a lot of effort and a lot of hard work and repeated efforts. And the 8th house is connected to deep research and discovery. So you may be digging really deep beneath the surface when it comes to certain maybe conspiracy theories, or maybe you're looking at how to heal yourself. Maybe you're looking at engaging in a healing process which takes a lot of time. So maybe you are going to be seeing a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a Reiki practitioner. Essentially, Saturn being retrograde in your 8th house tells me that you're going to be working on something which requires a lot of emotional persistence, really, because the 8th house is connected to your emotions, your fears. It's also connected to addictions. So really, this is about you working hard on the things that you feel have been limiting you, in the sense that you may have been having intimacy issues, whether this is with a romantic partner or with a prospective romantic partner, or maybe there's a physical ailment that you're looking at healing, or something that's of a psychological nature. Now, on a different level, the 8th house is connected to your mutual resources as well as inheritances. So if there is an inheritance which is coming your way, for want of a better term, there may be quite a process that is involved here for you to gain access to this inheritance money or whatever has been bequeathed to you. Now, with the 8th house representing mutual resources, just generally speaking, there may be some sort of restructuring process which is taking place with regard to child support money, alimony money, and for some of you, Your significant other or your spouse, if you're in a committed relationship, may need you to take on a heavier load with regard to contributing to your mutual resources. Maybe they are taking a step back from work altogether or partially. Maybe they're unable to work. Maybe they are going to be, um, maybe they're going to be the primary caregiver. And so you're sort of needing to, step up and provide from a financial point of view. On a different level, the eighth house is connected to emotional support. So this can see you going through a period of time where you're actually providing a lot of emotional support for your significant other, as indicated by Saturn ruling over the seventh house. On a different level, it could be someone that you in a friendship with, or it could even be your business partner. Now, on the 11th/12th of June, depending where you live in the world, Venus and Uranus will form a conjunction at 16 degrees in your 11th house in the sign of Taurus. So this happens about once a year on average, and essentially, this can bring about some sort of unexpected event. And the 11th house is connected to friends, our community. It is also connected to finances. It's one of the money houses. And essentially, Venus is a planet of money and resources and relationships, and it rules over your 11th house anyway, so it's the natural ruler of your 11th house, and it rules over your 4th house, which is connected to property and family. Now, with Uranus being involved in the conjunction, this tells me that there is something unexpected or shocking which will take place around the 11th or 12th of June with regard to friendships, your community or communities, and also maybe your long-term finances. So I'll just run through a few different ways that this can work out, because essentially there's a lot of different ways that this can play out for you guys. This is a general reading, so just take what resonates and leave what doesn't. On the friendship front, this can see some of you forming a new friendship which takes off really, really quickly. Maybe just hit it off straight away. Maybe you meet out of the blue. And because Uranus rules over your eighth house, which is connected to your mutual resources, it could be that you need to help a friend of yours with resources, whether you're giving them money or emotional support. This could be your new friend, this could be an existing friend, or the shoe could be on the other foot where they are helping you in some way, shape, or form. Now, this can indicate that someone in your wider network or one of your friends could have some sort of big outburst. And I'm saying this because Uranus rules over explosions and outbursts. So, we look at Mars for this as well, but this can look like some kind of temper tantrum or your friend acting really, really out of character. And maybe they're revealing a deep secret to you, especially because Uranus is a planet of divine knowledge and information, and it rules over your eighth house, and the eighth house is connected to secrets. Maybe they are confessing their love to you. It could happen. If it happens, let me know in the comments. They could just be revealing strong emotions that they have about you, or that they have, and essentially this revelation or this outburst, whatever it is, could really take you by surprise. And they may be oversharing with you. They may actually tell you something which sort of unsettles you at an emotional level. Now, on a different note, this could be a surprise hookup with a friend. So, maybe they are confessing their love. Maybe it's just a simple hookup. And this could be someone that you've known for ages, or that you didn't know had feelings for you. Maybe it's always been platonic up until now. And then, 1 second you're hooking up and you're like, what? Anyway, look, to be fair, this could indicate a shock end of a friendship. And again, this is a general reading, so this absolutely won't be for all of you, but it is worth noting, and that is because Uranus is a planet of divorce and separation, and Venus represents relationships. So, it could be with a friend, it could be with someone that you collaborate with, even if you have a business relationship with another person or some kind of agreement, and it could be fiscal, it could be financial. This could end. This person could just walk and be like, hey, this isn't working for me anymore. On a different note, it could be you that is saying that, this relationship or this friendship doesn't work for me anymore. And you could actually be surprising this other individual. Now, because the 11th house is connected to groups and communities, this does indicate that for some of you, there may be a sudden shock exit from a community or a group. Maybe you're walking away from a friendship group or a community that you've been a part of for a long time. And because Venus rules over your 4th house as well as your 11th house, for some of you, this could be prompted by your family's desires or what their sort of outlook is on the situation, or what their opinion is really. Or this could be determined by a change in your living circumstances. So if you need to relocate suddenly, whether this is to a different suburb, interstate, or even overseas, maybe that is the purpose for you no longer being able to be a part of a certain community. And lastly, this can see you receiving financial support or resources from a friend, and this could be to help you with your property or with your living circumstances, or this could be your family setting you up financially in the long term. So maybe they are setting up some sort of trust fund for you, maybe they're transferring certain resources into your name. They could even be transferring a property into your name. And for some of you, you may not have access to this for a number of years. In any case, though, we can just say friends, resources, shocking things coming to light, and a change of circumstances taking place as being sort of like the buzzwords for this particular conjunction. So now let's move it along and look at the Mars and Chiron conjunction, which is going to take place on the 15th or the 16th of June. This conjunction takes place once every 2 years on average, and essentially Chiron is not an asteroid, it is what is called a centaur, so slightly different makeup there. And Chiron represents our core spiritual wound or an emotional wound. Sometimes it can even be physical. Essentially, this conjunction indicates that a pressure point is going to be hit really intensely for you. So this could come through as some sort of trigger that you experience, like an emotional trigger. And because this is occurring in your 10th house, Cancer, this indicates that somehow this is connected to your professional life or your public reputation. And you don't need to be in the workforce. This could even be how you identify. It also indicates the sort of statements that start with I am. I am female, or I am an astrologer, I am employed, I am a mother, or whatever it is for your situation. And because Mars and Chiron are conjunct here, there is some sort of pressure point which is being pushed, where you may actually be revealing your sensitivities in a public setting or in a public way. Now, this can happen inadvertently, meaning that it's not your intention, and maybe this just sort of spills out of you, and people are really able to clearly see that this is something that upsets this person or that angers this person. Or you may actually be getting vulnerable in a public setting, whether this is communicating this online, or to your boss, in your workplace, to one of your parents. You could even just be sort of identifying with this in a very clear and strong way, where you are basically shedding any shame that you may have felt previously for feeling quite sensitive or vulnerable, surrounding this topic. So I'm going to go through some worst case scenario things, and then some best case scenario ways that this can play out for you. Worst case scenario, this conjunction, which once again is taking place around the 15th slash 16th of June can have you appearing verbally aggressive. And I'm saying this because Mars rules over aggression, and the 15th degree is the Gemini degree, which is connected to our communications. So for some of you, you could be trying too hard to come off really strong in a situation, and as though nothing affects you. Maybe you're acting very proud or very stoic, and essentially this could be seen as wounded masculinity. Not that I want to put too many buzzwords on it, but this is like, you don't have to be male or female, or it doesn't matter how you identify. This is touching on the part of you that wants to be seen as strong, that wants to be seen as invincible, that wants to be seen as not having any weaknesses at all. So again, with this worst case scenario, you may come across too aggressive verbally in your speech. You may be coming off as someone who is pretending that nothing is wrong when something is clearly wrong, or you could say or do something which hurts your chances of being considered for a position of leadership, or being promoted, or even just advancing, whether you are self-employed or whether you just want to be more respected in society. Now, of course, there's two sides to everything. Well, there's more than one side, but the other side of the coin is the best case scenario, which would be you revealing your identity to the world, you showcasing your vulnerable side publicly to the point where you actually inspire other people to stand with you and say, hey, I've been through the same thing, or yes, that upsets me too, that bothers me too. I'm so glad that you said something, because I was too shy to speak on this issue. So you could be speaking out against violence, and this is a really, really powerful thing. Whether this is in the workplace, whether this is you saying, "Hey, I've experienced domestic violence or abuse in relationships," or maybe you are coming out and saying that you have mistreated other people, or that you are suddenly identifying in a very public way the sorts of things that you have unconsciously been doing that have been hurting other people, because hurt people, if you know what I'm saying. So this is actually a really profound time for you to soften your public image, especially if you have a veneer of being quite stoic or unemotional. Now, on a different level, because the 10th house is connected to the father archetype, whether this is your biological father, stepfather, adoptive father, or even you could even be like a grandparent, whoever was in that role, or for those of you who didn't have anyone in that role, this is what this Mars and Chiron conjunction could be addressing for you. So, on one hand, there is a chance for you to heal your relationship with your father or with your father figure. Now, even if they're not alive anymore, even if you forgive them but you don't want to have contact with them, this could see the choice that you make to discuss this relationship actually inspire and help other people who are currently dealing with this issue, or maybe who have had the same issue but they haven't had the confidence or the emotional strength. Not that it implies weakness if the opposite is true, but maybe they just haven't had the courage to speak out about it. So, this can see you healing that relationship, and on a different level, but similarly related, you may be personally addressing how your relationship or lack thereof with a father figure, past, present, or, even looking to the future, you could be addressing how that relationship has impacted you on a professional level. And with regard to your public self, how you like to be known, how you like to introduce yourself, maybe you're trying to live up to their name. Maybe you're trying everything in your power to make sure that you have nothing in common, that there are no similarities. Maybe you're trying to prove something to this person themselves, or perhaps you're trying to, um, show that there's nothing in common with that person in your life, whether they're still there or not. And this is coming through so clearly, and maybe in your efforts to sort of create a lot of emotional distance with this person, you may even be coming off as them in some ways. It could be like a bit of projection that is going on, or um, not identifying where there could be certain similarities. So, anyway, obviously, I've talked about this topic for a while now, but I just want to reiterate that this is a very unique opportunity for you to communicate about how this relationship has impacted you, and for you to heal something on a really deep level, which is only going to make you come off as more approachable, more empathetic, more empathic. And this can certainly advance your career and advance your public image if you capitalize on the energy that is available for you to address what is going on at a deeper level. Now, on the 22nd/23rd of June, we're going to see Venus enter the sign of Gemini, which means it will be in your 12th house. So, Venus will be here until around the 17th or the 18th of July. And wherever Venus goes, this is where we can experience things going easier or blessings. And in the 12th house, this presents an opportunity for you to relax, luxuriate, spend time creating art, listening to music, maybe getting some more sleep. You may be enjoying meditation. You could be having very successful meditations around this time. And by that, I mean um, that meditation could actually be working to help you relax and to unwind. Now, the 12th house is connected to bedroom pleasures, and Venus is the planet of relationships. So you could be enjoying more time in the bedroom, if you catch my drift, and a romantic relationship could begin. And this could be something which is on the down low that you're not telling other people about, because the 12th house is very hidden. We don't like to reveal what's going on in the 12th house. So there could be an element of secrecy surrounding this relationship. Even if it's not a full blown relationship, it could just be flirtations or like a friends with benefits kind of thing, especially with Venus ruling over your 11th house. And on a different level, Venus here can see you being more creative, more inspired. You could be creating more art, more music, films. You could be taking photographs. And one thing I would say though, with Venus in your 12th house, would be just be careful not to overindulge in recreational substances. So, moving along to the 28th of June, when we're going to see Neptune stationing retrograde in Pisces. So, Neptune will station retrograde at 25 degrees Pisces, and Neptune will be retrograde until the 4th of December. So, like Saturn, it spends 5 months ish every year being retrograde. So, this can see you going deeper into spirituality and into your religious practices. Maybe you are religious, maybe you're spiritual. Maybe you're both, they're not mutually exclusive. Essentially, Neptune has a very emotional energy, and it is connected to healing and forgiveness. And also, it is connected to compassion and our psychic abilities. So, with Neptune being retrograde in the ninth house, which is connected to seeing our vision for the future and prophecy and seeing the bigger picture, this can see you actually reconsidering some of your spiritual beliefs or your religious beliefs, or maybe you're getting back into these practices, especially if you used to be super, let's just say, religious, and then you sort of, let go of certain practices. This can see you reconnecting to those. Now, on a different level, this can see you addressing where you've maybe been lying to yourself about how your beliefs have justified certain behavior or behaviors that you've been exhibiting. And essentially, though, Neptune is trining you as a Cancer sun, moon, or rising. So I see this as an opportunity for you to go within, understand your own intuition and psychic abilities and how these work. And maybe you're going to actually be able to hone these abilities or use them in more of a conscious way. So, lastly, for the month, on the 29th of June, Venus in Gemini in your 12th house is going to sextile Jupiter in Aries in your 10th house. So I really wanted to end this horoscope on a high because Jupiter is a planet of blessings and good fortune and good luck and wealth and abundance. Venus is also connected to blessings and wealth and the five senses and relationships. So the fact that these two planets are in a harmonious aspect to one another, being the sextile, to me, this indicates a really exciting opportunity for you to share your artistic and creative gifts in a public way, and also in a way where people have more respect for you and your abilities. Maybe you revealing this artistic side of you is elevating your public reputation and how people view you. Maybe you are submitting your creative works to someone who's in a position of authority, and essentially you could be expanding your creative or your artistic portfolio. Now, something that I just want to note with sextiles is that they represent an opportunity which must be acted on or capitalized on in some way, shape, or form. Otherwise, it's like, um, sorry to use a crass or crude example, but it's like money sitting there on the table. You actually have to go and pick it up off the table and pocket it. So, just to put that really plainly for you, if you don't seize the opportunity or seize the moment, then it's going to pass you by. So, on a sort of deeper level or on a metaphysical and spiritual level, this can look like you asking for advice from your spirit guides or from someone who you know is a very spiritual person, a very enlightened person. Maybe you're going to be asking for messages or inspiration to come through via your dreams or in meditation or while you're pulling tarot cards, or maybe you are engaging the services of an astrologer or a tarot reader or someone who practices some form of divination. And perhaps the intention here is for you to be realigned to your life purpose. I know as astrologers, we like to look at the 10th house and be like, oh, it's your career. Ultimately, the 10th house represents your life purpose. So if you feel as though you haven't been connected to this, or you've been out of alignment with this, or if you literally just like do not know what your purpose is in life, this is a time where you can ask and receive the answer. So keep an eye out for um, spiritual practitioners who catch your eye. Maybe there's an astrologer whose services that you want to engage, and this is a time for you to reach out to them because they're not looking to solicit business from random people. I can tell you now, I don't just casually DM people and say, hey, I've got a message for you. You guys have to come to me if you want a reading. And that's how it really always works. If it's working the other way, that could be a scam, and that's something that you want to be mindful of just as a separate issue. But seriously, if you want a spiritual reading, you have to be the one to seek it out. Now, on a different level, this can see you revealing your spiritual gifts and your interests in spirituality, as shown by Venus being in the 12th house, publicly, as shown by this sextile to Jupiter in your 10th house. And the effect of this can be that people see you as someone who is more wise, someone who is worth listening to, someone who they may even want to learn from. So, this could actually be an opportunity for you to step into the role of teacher or educator on 12th house topics, which, again, would be spirituality, music, photography, healing, and um, filmography. I mean, you guys know what the 12th house rules over, those sorts of things. If you don't know, drop me a comment and I can share some things after the reading. So, lastly, with this particular transit, for those of you who are um, in the involved in the arts, let's say, and this also includes acting as well, maybe this is an opportunity for you to practice with your friends. Hey, can I do a performance in front of you? I just want to get comfortable performing in front of people. Hey, I want to practice reading astrology charts or doing tarot readings. Can I try and read cards for you? Give me your honest opinion. Let your friends help you. Maybe they are not offering to help because they feel like you need to be the one who comes to them, who is ready to take this next step. And even from, an artistic point of view, maybe you're asking someone to be your muse. Maybe you're taking their picture or drawing or painting a portrait of them. And, lastly, with this, if you are struggling with an addiction or with fear or anxiety or panic attacks, this actually indicates that this transit indicates that there is someone who will be available to help you around the end of the month. So around the last couple days of June. So maybe this person's been through a similar thing to you. Maybe you just happen to know that they have some sort of experience with addiction or with anxiety attacks. Or maybe you just recognize this person as being the only one that you want to confide in. And again, this individual may just be waiting for you to initiate the conversation because they don't want to push your boundaries. And so, Cancer, that's all I have for you for June 2022. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Also, I do offer private readings for astrology and tarot. So if you'd like to book a reading, please head to the link in the description box below. Enjoy your month ahead and enjoy your season as well, Cancer. And I will see you guys in July.